Before ultra-pure coconut milk ever reaches your glass, its journey begins here, in the quiet light of tropical dawn. In these groves, generations of farmers have learned exactly when a coconut is ready to become milk. Just a few kilometers away, a very different landscape waits to reseal that harvest. The modern coconut milk factory. This is a story of transformation, where natural richness meets precise engineering. Behind these doors, every step is controlled, recorded, and refined to protect the purity of the milk. In this documentary, we follow that journey step by step, from harvest to ultra-pure coconut milk. Our story begins where the factory has no walls at all, out in the coconut fields. Skilled harvesters enter the groves at dawn, working in the coolest, calmest hours of the day.
With simple tools and practiced technique, they climb heights that would intimidate most of us.
Not every coconut will become milk. Only the right maturity, weight, and condition make the cut.
With one sure strike, a whole cluster is released, falling toward the workers waiting below.
On the ground, another layer of selection begins. Damaged coconuts are immediately removed. An experienced ear can hear the difference between full, healthy coconuts and those that are hollow or spoiled.
Once selected, the coconuts are moved quickly from the shade of the trees to the waiting trucks. The truck becomes the first container on their journey, filled layer by layer with raw potential. The trip from farm to factory is kept as short as possible to protect freshness.
At the gate, every load is documented, traced back to specific farms and harvest times.
Each truck is weighed before and after unloading, tracking exactly how much raw material enters the plant.
The harvest finally leaves the farm behind, entering a world of stainless steel and strict rules. Quality inspectors perform another visual and physical check, looking for cracks, mold, or deformities. Only the best coconuts continue onto the processing line that will unlock their milk.
From this point on, exposure to the outside world is minimized, and control becomes everything.
Even the air at this doorway is filtered and managed to keep dust and insects out.
Human eyes and digital systems work together, constantly watching for anything out of place.
The next step strips away the coconut's outer armor, revealing the valuable core inside. This machine removes the thick outer husk in seconds, a task that once took young farm workers much longer by hand. Fibrous layers are stripped off, leaving behind a smoother, hard shell ready for the next cut.
Even the husk rarely goes to waste, often reused as growing medium, fuel, or fiber products.
At the deshelling line, the rock-hard outer shell is split away from the white kernel inside.
Every crack is controlled, protecting the kernel from damage and contamination.
The shells, too, find second lives as charcoal, craft material, or fuel.
Now we see the heart of the coconut, the part that will actually become milk.
This stage removes the thin brown skin, improving color and consistency in the final product.
The more uniform the kernel surface, the smoother the milk will look in the bottle.
Even this thin layer can be repurposed, often used in other coconut-based products.
Freshly peeled kernels are washed under pressurized, filtered water to remove any remaining dust or fragments. Every surface that will touch the milk must be as clean as possible. Technicians regularly check for visual defects, stopping the line if anything looks wrong.
In many factories, the kernels are briefly blanched in hot water to neutralize enzymes and reduce microbes.
This short heat treatment helps protect flavor and extends shelf life without heavy processing later.
Immediately after blanching, cool air and drainage bring the temperature back down to safe handling levels.
A final rinse removes any remaining residues, leaving only clean, ready-to-grind coconut meat. From here, we enter the transformation zone, where solid coconut starts to become liquid.
Operators adjust each machine to match the texture and fat content the recipe demands. The grinding line is where the familiar coconut texture disappears, making way for milk. Whole kernels are fed into powerful grinders designed to shred them into fine particles. Inside, blades and screens work together to break coconut meat into tiny pieces. This grated coconut has a massive surface area, perfect for releasing rich coconut milk. Filtered, warm water is added to help draw out the natural fat and flavor. Gentle agitation mixes water and coconut, creating a thick, opaque suspension.
The mixture then enters the screw press, where intense pressure squeezes out the raw coconut milk.
Under pressure, coconut cells burst, releasing a rich, milky liquid. The leftover fiber, called press cake, still has uses in food, feed, or other products.
A second extraction can recover even more milk solids, improving overall yield. First and second extractions are blended and held in insulated tanks for a short time.
Coarse filters remove larger fiber fragments that could affect texture. Vibrating screens keep the flow continuous while separating solids.
In some plants, centrifuges further refine the milk, separating cream from lighter fractions. This allows producers to control fat levels, creating everything from light coconut milk to rich coconut cream.
Computer systems track every parameter, adjusting valves and pumps to keep quality consistent. In the standardization tank, all streams are blended to match a precise recipe. Inline sensors measure fat and solids on the fly, making real-time corrections possible. Before final sterilization, the milk is preheated in a plate heat exchanger.
Hot and cold flows move in opposite directions, efficiently bringing the milk to the target temperature.
The next critical step is homogenization, which stabilizes the milk's creamy texture. Under high pressure, fat droplets are broken into tiny, uniform particles.
This prevents separation, keeping the product looking and tasting consistent over time. To achieve long shelf life without heavy preservatives, many factories use ultra-high temperature, or UHT, treatment.
In seconds, the milk is heated to very high temperatures, then cooled again almost as quickly.
This brief heat shock destroys harmful microbes while preserving most of the coconut's flavor.
In a deaerator, trapped air and foam are carefully removed to reduce oxidation.
From here on, the milk travels only through sealed, sterile pipelines.
This buffer tank holds the finished milk, waiting for a perfectly synchronized filling line.
In aseptic zones, even human presence is controlled and carefully documented.
Air pressure and filtration keep contaminants out, ensuring the milk remains ultra-pure.
A final sterile filter acts as a safety net before the milk reaches its package.
This is the finished product, ready to be tested, tasted, and finally packed.
Before it reaches the filling line, it must pass strict internal quality checks.
Now, the challenge is to protect that purity all the way to your kitchen shelf.
In the packaging hall, everything moves fast, but nothing is left to chance.
Empty cartons are loaded in bulk, folded and opened just seconds before filling.
Each package is sterilized, giving microbes as little chance as possible to survive.
The sterile milk is then filled under aseptic conditions, with no air from the room touching it.
Heat seals the package, locking in the milk and keeping outside oxygen out. Batch codes and best before dates trace each carton back through the entire process.
Automatic weight checks catch underfilled or overfilled packages before they ever leave the line.
High-speed cameras inspect seals, print clarity, and alignment hundreds of times per minute.
Finished cartons are grouped into packs sized for families, cafes, or industrial kitchens.
Robotic palletizers stack thousands of liters of coconut milk with millimeter precision.
Stretch wrap protects the load during transport, keeping cartons stable and clean.
Some products spend time in chilled storage, especially if they are for shorter-term use.
The warehouse is a quiet crossroads, holding products destined for cities around the world.
From here, the milk travels to supermarkets, cafes, and homes, often crossing borders and oceans.
By the time you see a carton on a shelf, it has already passed through an invisible chain of careful steps.
Microbiology tests check for harmful bacteria, with results recorded for every production lot.
Chemical analysis confirms that fat content, solids, and acidity match the promised recipe.
Trained tasters ensure the product still tastes like real coconut, not just numbers on a screen.
After each production run, automated cleaning systems flush the equipment with detergents and hot water. These cycles strip away residue, preventing buildup and microbial growth inside the pipes. Many factories now track their environmental footprint as closely as they track their output.
Byproducts like husk and shell can become soil enhancers, charcoal, or fiber materials instead of going to landfill.
When you pour coconut milk at home, you're seeing only the final frame of a long story.
And increasingly, manufacturers work with farmers to create shared value all along the chain.
From breakfast bowls to curries and coffee, this product quietly supports daily rituals around the world.
Some plants even power part of their operations with renewable energy harvested right on site.
Behind every carton are farmers, engineers, technicians, and systems working together in sync. Next time you pick up a carton, you'll know the invisible chain behind its purity and the people who make it possible.